Stop everything. Turn the volume up and put your phone on Do Not Disturb. Because what I'm about to lay out will make your soul itch. This isn't just gossip, it's betrayal cooked low and slow over years of fake sisterhood and reality TV. Loyalty contracts, signed in glitter and broken over brunch. Yandy Smith, yes. That Yandy queen of comm edges, loyalty rings, and stay-at-home activism just got exposed in a way even the messiest Love and Hip Hop cast members didn't see coming. And who's doing the exposing? Oh, just Rasheeda Frost, a woman who's taken more L's in her marriage than most people take selfies in a week. But this time, she's not crying in the bathroom over Kirk's newest baby bomb. This time, Rasheeda's the one lighting the match and the whole damn show might go up in flames. Because according to the shade queen of the internet herself, Miss Tasha K. Yandy wasn't just being messy behind Rasheeda's back. She was allegedly whispering her so-called best friend's dirtiest secrets into the ear of a man who didn't even exist in the love and hip-hop universe until 2 weeks ago. A man with 20 YouTube subscribers, 4,000 Instagram followers, and suddenly boom, PR team, a viral presence, and a new lease in Atlanta's influencer circle. And you want to know how he got there? Allegedly, thanks to Yandy, Miss I Love My Husband, Miss Loyalty Over Everything. Miss Community Queen was out here leaking Rasheeda's pain like it was a press release for a mixtape nobody asked for. You can't make this up. Rasheeda was out here crying over Kirk, leaving her girl had her back. While Yandy was allegedly serving her secrets up to a side dude with lemon and a little honey for the flavor. And the worst part, Rasheeda didn't even know. She thought they were real sisters in struggle, sisters in slay, sisters in sequins. But what she didn't know was that behind the scenes, that bond was being sold piece by piece like clearance jewelry on Instagram Live. What she didn't know was that Yandy was allegedly giving this man details no one else could know. Not just about Kirk. Not just about business, but private conversations. Family drama. Things that were never supposed to leave the green room. And when Tasha K went live with the receipts, the timeline exploded. Followers went full FBI. DMs leaked. Screenshots emerged. And Rasheeda, sis, found out the way everyone else did through a wave of comments on her latest boutique post, reading Yandy did what? In that moment, Rasheeda realized she wasn't just betrayed, she was played. And Yandy, she wasn't even flinching. No comment. No IG live. No crying selfie. Just silence. Calculated. Clean. Deadly. The kind of silence that says, I'm already 10 moves ahead. But let's rewind, because this war didn't start with one video. No baby, this mess had been simmering for months. Back when Yandy and Rasheeda were still posting matching photos with captions like Boss Queens only, the tension was already creeping in. Production assistants started whispering that Yandy was getting too cozy with a certain content creator during off-camera shoots, that she was spending time after filming with him, that she was overheard saying things about Rasheeda that didn't sound like sisterhood. And while Rasheeda was too busy putting out her usual Kirk-induced fires to notice, the damage was already done. And let's not act surprised. Yandy built her brand on being loyal, composed, and 10 steps ahead. But behind those staged brunches and heart-to-hearts, there was allegedly a whole other script being written. One where she played both sides. On camera, she was wiping Rasheeda's tears and calling Kirk a damn fool. But off camera, allegedly, joking about how Rasheeda needs the pain for the storyline and acts too soft for TV. That's not shade, that's sabotage. And who was there, front row center, sipping that betrayal tea? Kendra Robinson. Yes, Miss Quiet Confidence. Miss I'm a log, you're not a fighter. Suddenly she's in the mix, co-signing every cold shoulder Rasheeda throws, sitting in confessionals grinning like she just got invited to the petty brunch of the century. When Rasheeda looked at the camera and said, "We're not even friends like that anymore," it wasn't just a line, it was a verdict. A sentence passed in reality TV court, and Kendra, she sat there nodding like the jury foreman who just sealed Yandy's fate, but who gave Kendra clearance to speak on friendships. Her storyline is sponsored by jocks, cheating, and delusion. She's been holding on to loyalty like it's a sinking ship, and suddenly she's the morality police. The fans saw it too. The comment sections lit up like Christmas. Rasheeda acting brand new. Yandy deserved better. Kendra needs to hush and fix her man first. The internet was split, and baby, the war lines were drawn. Team Rasheeda, Team Yandy, Team Kendra, which let's be honest, is just Jock's burner account and her glam squad. But silence. That's where it got dangerous. Because while Rasheeda was out here letting tears fall and boutique sales drop, Yandy said nothing. Zero. No response. No shade. Not even a subtweet. And that silence. That told us everything. Because silence in this game ain't peace. It's war prep. According to sources close to production ease, the ones that always accidentally leak scripts, Yandy's legal team was already gathering files. Screenshots, DMs, deleted comments, audio clips, because once Kendra and Rasheeda started publicly suggesting that Yandy faked her marriage for storyline clout and used friendships for gain, that's not just gossip. That's defamation. And baby, lawsuits don't come with camera filters. Let's talk receipts. Because Tasha K didn't just drop claims, she dropped timestamps, screenshots, even a voice note labeled scrubbed from episode 4. In it, allegedly, Yandy's side dudelets call him Mystery Mike talks about Rasheeda's marriage like he was her therapist. Saying things like, Yandy told me Kirk's done worse, off camera, and Rasheeda be crying. For the viewers, but she knows what she signed up for. The man had opinions like he lived inside the Frost household. And the worst part, he was nobody. A man who showed up in leopard print slides and had the nerve to speak on a decade-long friendship like he earned that right. But the real slap, Yandy allegedly helped him grow, fed him info, boosted his clout, told him what to post, let him sit in meetings. And now he's doing interviews about being close to the circle. Baby, he was never supposed to be in the same building. And, Rasheeda, she was still posting happy to support my sis like she hadn't just been gutted with a smile. It wasn't just betrayal. It was surgical. And then came the boutique backlash. Pressed ATL, once Rasheeda's pride and joy, became the battlefield. Reviews tanked. Comments flooded in. Hope your friends are more loyal than your jeans. You pressed, alright pressed, to blame the wrong one. Influencers started quietly unfollowing. Brand collabs paused. Not because Rasheeda said anything illegal, but because the vibe was off. And in this game, vibe is everything. Nobody wants their product linked to reality show fallouts. It's not about what's true. It's about what's messy. And Rasheeda, she looked messy. Meanwhile, Yandy, she was laying low but not gone. According to one Love and Hip Hop assistant producer, Yandy's been planning a full brand pivot. New deals, new platforms, maybe even her own series. While Rasheeda's stuck doing cleanup in the comments section, Yandy's out here collecting partnerships like loyalty points, and the crew sees it. The production sees it. Hell, even Mona sees it. Which is why, according to Tasha, producers are rethinking casting. This friendship explosion didn't just shake fans, it cracked the foundation of the whole franchise. The sisterhood image, gone, burned, salted, and now everyone's wondering who really carries the show. Because if Yandy walks, that's a problem. If Rasheeda keeps spiraling, that's a liability. And if Kendra keeps talking, that's just white noise. But the reunion? Oh, the reunion is where this powder keg's going to blow. Sources say Rasheeda refused to film with Yandy unless it's a solo scene. Meanwhile, Yandy's reportedly told producers she's bringing her own set of receipts. Not just clapbacks documents, audio files, maybe even legal warnings. And guess who might be stepping in? Mendices, yes. Mr. Stay Low and Stay Loyal. The man who rarely talks but always watches. Allegedly, he's had enough. Tired of his name being used like seasoning in a fight he wasn't even in, and he wants camera time to set the record straight. And when Mendices talks, people listen, because unlike Kirk, he doesn't play for pity, he plays for power. And if he shows up, backs Yandy, and drops some unexpected truths, the whole narrative might flip. Suddenly, Rasheeda's not the victim, she's the aggressor. And Yandy, she becomes the one who took the high road, who stayed silent while they dragged her, who handled her business behind the scenes while others performed for the camera. And that silence might be the smartest move of all. But this ain't over. Not even close. You'd think, after all that, after the boutique backlash, the leaked receipts, and Mystery Mike's unsolicited side-mouth interviews, that the cast would take a breath, regroup, maybe step back and reflect. But no, baby, this ain't that kind of show. Because just as the dust started to settle, another bomb dropped. And this one didn't come from a live stream, a comment thread, or some messy assistant with screenshots. No, this came from the inside. This came from the inside. A production intern, yep, one of those wide-eyed kids who usually fetches green juice and carries ring lights accidentally CC'd the wrong email thread. What was meant to go to an editor landed in the hands of a junior stylist, who just so happens to have a cousin who babysat for Tasha K's old neighbor. Within hours, that email hit the blogs. The subject line: Cast Power Dynamics. Phase 2 Strategy. What followed was a breakdown of every cast member's relevance, risk factor, and brand appeal, color-coded, time-stamped, and messy as hell. And guess who was listed as a potential liability due to uncontrolled emotional responses? Rasheeda Frost. Right under her name, bolded in red, were the words brand-friendly but unstable in alliances. Risk of spontaneous outbursts. Consider structured isolation or narrative redirection. Translation: they were about to ice her, out of her own storyline. Yandy. Oh, she was listed under priority leverage, multi-platform value. Mona may be messy, but she's not dumb. Yandy brings in brand deals, panel invites, social justice clout. Rasheeda brings in boutique beef and Kirk Frost. And right now, that equation wasn't adding up. But the gag: Kendra wasn't even listed. Not under leverage, not under risk, no. It was like she didn't exist. And that's right, there's what made Kendra spiral. According to a new leak, Kendra stormed into a production meeting demanding to know why her footage kept getting cut. Why her confessional about Yandy's betrayal only aired in half-light with bad audio. One assistant claimed she screamed, "Y'all using me as filler, while these frauds get full arcs." Security had to escort her out after she threw a makeup sponge at the EP's assistant and yelled, "I'm the only real one on this cast." Girl, the only real thing was the tantrum. But while Kendra was busy crumbling, Rasheeda was plotting. She knew silence wasn't working. The boutique was bleeding. Comments were getting out of control. And every time she tried to post a selfie, someone replied fake friend energy. So she did what every love and hip-hop queen does when backed into a corner. She called in a stylist, booked a confessional, and sat her ass in front of the camera like she was auditioning for Scandal. Red lips, high pony, all black outfit like she came to bury someone's image. And baby, she did. With a voice calm enough to chill a courtroom, Rasheeda stared dead into the camera and said, "I held Yandy down through everything, and all I got in return was betrayal in designer heels." She didn't cry, she didn't scream, but the fury behind her eyes, that was louder than any shade. She continued, "I opened my life, my home, my heart to her. I defended her when no one else did, and she sat there, smiling, while letting someone else throw dirt on my name." Then she dropped the line that shook the cast to the core. Yandy's not just a backactor, she's a strategist. And the whole time, I was just a storyline to her, a backdrop for her rise. Cut, print. Viral. Within hours, the clip leaked. Fans split again. Some hailed Rasheeda as the boss chick finally clapping back. Others said it reeked of desperation. But all agreed, this wasn't over. Because while Rasheeda was spilling feelings, Yandy was still silent. No response. Not a peep, which made people nervous. Because the longer she stayed quiet, the more they wondered, what is she holding back? Turns out, a lot. A week after Rasheeda's confessional, a DM thread appeared on Reddit, then Twitter, then every gossip page that ever claimed to be not messy but informed. The messages were allegedly between a junior producer and someone labeled YS Rep. That's Yandy Smith. If you're paying attention, the conversation was blunt, strategic. It read like a war room playbook. She won't stop pushing the fake marriage angle. We have proof she's using this to damage our brand. We're compiling every instance. If they push it further, we're responding. Legally, not on camera. The footage we held back. It's about to become leverage. Footage, leverage. Oh baby. Now we were cooking. That's when everything flipped. Because just as Rasheeda was starting to regain fan sympathy, just as Kendra began posting those overly filtered car selfies with loyalty over everything captions, a new clip leaked. And this one didn't come from Tasha K, it came from the vault. A deleted scene from 2 seasons ago. Yandy, Rasheeda, and Carly Red having a private lunch offset. No mics, no lighting, but the audio, clear as confession. Yandy is laughing. Rasheeda is sipping tea. Carly is trying to pretend she's not recording on her phone. And then, out of nowhere, Rasheeda says, "I don't even care about the certificate. It's about the image, right?" Yandy replies, "Exactly. That's why I never filed mine. You don't need the paper to make it real." Rasheeda nods. Smart. Kirk's drama is exhausting. Sometimes I wish I could just rewrite my whole marriage. Carly gasps like it's new gossip, but you can hear the greed in her voice. It was playful, intimate, but damning, because in that one moment, Rasheeda confirmed what fans had only speculated, that even her marriage narrative was sometimes just that, a narrative. And the moment that clip leaked, all her Yandy's marriage was fake shade backfired like a cheap wig on a windy day. Yandy still didn't speak. But she didn't have to. That footage did the talking. It whispered through every screen, "You want to throw rocks from a glass house? Let me remind you, you built that house together." Suddenly, blogs were retracting, tweets were disappearing, and Rasheeda, she went quiet. No new posts, no stories, just a dead timeline in a boutique Instagram that looked like a ghost town. But Kendra, oh, she took that silence as a cue to shout louder. She went on IG Live with a caption that read, "Y'all scared of the truth? I'm not." In the video, she rambled about loyalty, respect, women supporting women, ironic, considering her entire rise was built on sitting next to Jock while he embarrassed her weekly. But the worst part, she name-dropped Yandy again. She'd been playing all of us for years. Even before the cameras, she was out here trying to control who gets shine. Rasheeda too scared to say it, but I'm not. Yandy is a gatekeeper, a fraud, and I'm done being silent. Girl, silent where? But that live. It went viral for the wrong reasons, not because of what she said but because of what happened in the comments. Mendices dropped in not with a sentence. Not even with a word. Just an emoji, the side-eye, and baby. That emoji said everything. The fans lost it, not Mendices, creeping into the mess. Now you know the grown folks are watching. This about to get real. And it did, because just days later, Love and Hip Hop sent out reunion invites and, this time, they weren't optional. Sources say Mona herself had to intervene, that she called Yandy directly, told her, "This is your moment. Take it, or they write your story without you." Yandy agreed, but with one condition, unedited airtime. She didn't want a confessional. She didn't want a pre-cut segment. She wanted to sit on that stage, face the cast, and speak uninterrupted. She called it a public cross-examination, and Mona, she ate it up now. Here's where it gets cinematic. The reunion stage is set. Red lights, velvet couches. A backdrop that looks more like a courtroom than a set. Rasheeda walks out first, tight dress, stone face. Kendra follows, heels clicking like she's walking to a verdict. The crowd's buzzing. The cast is tense, then Yandy enters. Black suit, hair slick. No smile, no wave, just presence. The kind that makes people sit up straighter. She doesn't say a word. She just sits, crosses her legs, and waits. The host tries to warm things up, but baby, the chill in that room is glacial. Then they ask Rasheeda the first question, "What happened to your friendship with Yandy?" And Rasheeda, clearly trying to keep it clean, says, "I just realized we weren't aligned anymore, that's all." But Yandy lifts one brow, says nothing. The host turns to her. "Yandy, would you like to respond?" She picks up a folder, thick yellow dot, stamped with the word receipts. Yandy didn't come to the reunion to play. She came to prosecute. That yellow folder sitting in her lap was thicker than anyone expected, not just receipts, but timelines, cross-references, cold facts, and messy proof curated like an evidence binder straight out of a courtroom. She didn't slam it. She didn't wave it. She simply opened it, and the second her fingers touched that first tab, the temperature in the room dropped 10 degrees. The audience leaned in. The cast shifted like they felt it in their bones. Even Mona, watching from the monitors backstage, whispered, "Here we go." The first document, a series of screenshots. Not rumors, not speculation. Direct texts between Rasheeda and an insider producer, dated over the course of 5 months. In one, Rasheeda complained, "Yandy gets too much power on this show. They clean up her mess in editing, but mine stays raw. Not fair." In another, she straight up said, "Push the storyline about her marriage being fake. Fans been asking about it. Let's make it real." You could hear a pin drop. Not even Kendra blinked. Yandy didn't look up. She just flipped to the next tab, like she was reading out a list of violations. Next page. Audio transcripts. From a mic pack left on after filming. Rasheeda and Kendra in a hotel bathroom during a press event, thinking they were off the record. Kendra giggling, saying, "You really gonna drag Yandy like that?" Rasheeda, clear as day. She earned it. She been playing high and mighty too long. Let's bring her down a little. Yandy finally spoke. Not loud, not angry. Calm. Surgical. You ever have someone you trust sit next to you while you cry? And then, Find out they took notes on how to weaponize your pain. That's what this is. Rasheeda's jaw tensed. Kendra looked like she wanted to melt into the couch, but Yandy wasn't done. She pulled out a USB stick and handed it to production. The host looked confused. What is this? She asked. Yandy, why? Proof. The screen behind them lit up. The video rolled, and the audience gasped. It was security cam footage from a hallway backstage at an earlier season's taping. Yandy and Rasheeda had just wrapped a heavy emotional scene. Rasheeda hugged her, whispered something, walked off. Not 30 seconds later, Rasheeda rounded the corner and pulled out her phone. Hey, she said, smiling. Okay, we got the scene, she bought it. Now let's run the next phase of the arc. The audio was low, but unmistakable. Mona's face backstage turned white. Production scrambled. But it was too late. The footage was on every screen. The cast stared at each other like they had seen a ghost. Because the truth wasn't just ugly, it was broadcast in 4K. The host turned to Rasheeda, trying to give her a life raft. Do you want to explain that? She asked, voice gentle. But Rasheeda didn't answer. She just blinked, frozen, betrayed by her own footage. Yandy leaned back and folded her hands. I've been called fake, manipulative, a liar. But I never plotted against another woman to stay relevant. I built my space. I earned it. While they were whispering in corners, I was working. While they were plotting, I was surviving. And just like that, the moment flipped. The fans in the room began clapping. The host tried to move the conversation, but the momentum had shifted. Kendra suddenly jumped in, trying to salvage her own rep. Okay, but like we all plan stuff. This is reality TV. It's still a show. Yandy turned her head, sharp as a blade. Right, it's a show. Until it's your real life being used as a subplot for someone else's comeback. Kendra, silenced. Then it happened. The doors opened and Mendices walked in, dressed in all black, calm, collected. A storm in human form. He walked up behind Yandy, placed a quiet hand on her shoulder, and said, without needing a mic, say what you came to say. And she did. I protected people who would have buried me if the roles were reversed. I kept secrets I never should have held. I watched people tear each other apart over less than this, but I stayed silent because I thought, maybe sisterhood was still worth protecting. Turns out, I was protecting the wrong sisters. The room exhaled like they'd been holding their breath for a decade, and then another twist. Rasheeda finally spoke, voice shaking, lip trembling, but eyes locked on Yandy. You think I did all this because I hate you? I did it because I was tired of being second to someone who made better moves. Tired of smiling while my world fell apart and yours kept getting shinier. Yandy's face didn't move. Rasheeda continued, it wasn't personal. It was survival. I've watched you win for years. And me. I was stuck with a man who humiliated me and a cast that only remembered me when I cried. So yeah, I leaned into a little chaos. I played the game. Yandy looked her in the eye. And now it's playing you. The host had no words. No prompts. Just silence. And in that silence, something shifted. Rasheeda broke. She didn't cry. But she cracked just a whisper. I didn't mean for it to go this far. Yandy, that's what every villain says. Then Mona entered. On cue. In heels. With the walk of a woman who had just witnessed her franchise rebirth. In real time. She didn't smile. She just stood between them and said, enough. Her voice echoed across the stage. You all wanted a storyline. You made one. You wanted chaos. Congratulations. But I want you to hear me loud and clear this moment. This footage. This silence. It's not just TV. It's legacy. And you better hope you still have one when this airs. Then she turned to Yandy. You still want your reunion moment? Yandy nodded. Mona pointed at the camera. Then finish it. Yandy stood tall, calm, unshaken. My name is Yandy Smith Harris. I've been loyal. I've been silent. I've been strong when people confused me for weak, but from this day forward, I'm not protecting anyone who wouldn't even protect my name in a room full of strangers. Say what you want about me, but just know if I ever start pulling more receipts. She paused. You'll wish this folder was the only one I had. And she walked off the set. Didn't wait for applause. Didn't check the reaction. She knew the war was won. Rasheeda stayed seated. Alone. Kendra looked around, lost Mendices. Followed behind Yandy, like the closing credits. And Mona. She stood frozen, eyes on the camera, smiling like a producer who just got handed a goldmine. By that night, the hashtags were trending. Yandy wins. Hashtag RASHIDA. Exposed hashtag Kendra who hashtag love and hip hop reunion of the century and pressed ATL's comment section. Shut down. Temporarily under maintenance. But the damage was done. Because this wasn't just a reality TV fight, it was a lesson. Don't turn your sister into a storyline. Unless you're ready to become the villain. Don't play checkers in a chess match run by a woman with a folder thicker than your storyline arc. And don't ever think silence means weakness. Because in this game, the quiet ones keep the best receipts, and when they finally open the folder, you're already buried. Goodbye.